So I look like a mess, but we're just going to ignore that. We're just going to gloss right over that. Um, I'm disappointed with the very recent kind of controversy between Zachary, aka the Swiftologist, and Adam McIntyre, who I'm aware of. I've seen his videos come up before. Like I definitely recognise his face, but I am a big Swiftologist fan. But the shit that's going down is like so disappointing. Um, Zach is better than that. I don't know why he thought that with the following that he has and with the internet, one being the internet, and two, so many people like rooting for Zachary's downfall, why he thought saying some of the things that he said in his Discord, um, the Evolution of a Snake Discord, about Adam, why he thought he'd get away with that, or why he thought that no one would leak that, or it's extremely bizarre, and all of this has come to light because, okay, he had another controversial take, which I've not seen anyone bring up the fact that Kayla of Kayla Says, her YouTube channel, Kayla basically had an identical take to Zachary. So Kayla essentially said, this has been happening at concerts, male artists. She even created like a fictitious family tree of, how an artist like Sombr comes to be, because of all the Matty Healys of the past and the Harry Styles of the past, and how that then gives birth to the Benson Boons and the Sombers, So essentially saying that you get like the prestige top tier artist and then you get the Timu knockoff versions, essentially. No hate to Benson Boone or Sombr, but kind of their Timu versions of better artists. Kayla said that these concerts that these young girls go to for a long time, the men on stage have been behaving this way, and the title of her video is like, is Sombr problematic or is he just cringe? He's cringe. Like that's essentially the outcome of her video. No one gave her shit for it, but the Swiftologist Zachary, in his video on TikTok, he more or less said the same things that Kayla says. Okay, it was kind of weird. I'll admit, it was pretty weird that he said that the 25-year-old girl who initially did the video about Sombr, that she's probably just jealous because she's aged out of like being part of like youth discourse, and she's 25 and Zachary's 28, or he just turned 29 like 2 days ago or a day ago. So that part was really weird and did kind of feel odd. I don't think he had to do that. But Adam responded to that and was like, I think that's really weird that Zachary is kind of defending Sombr's behaviour, which I disagree with Adam on that completely. I think Sombr behaving that way, that's been happening for a long time. And it's up to, if there are young people at that concert, it's actually up to their parents to keep them safe and know where they are and not have them spend their money on tickets for shows. That's not the artist's responsibility. That's parents' responsibility. Their children are not Sombr's problem. It's the parents' problem. So I disagree with Adam there, but I disagree with Zachary for saying that this 25-year-old girl that reviewed his show is just jealous. That's extremely weird. So the truth's like somewhere in the middle, okay? But then the Swiftologist did something that I'm so disappointed by, right? because it doesn't make sense. Zachary is extremely intelligent, and I know for a fact he has mentioned this before in videos that he's done with Madeline. Madeline. Who's Madeline? I've been listening to the new Lily Allen album. Who's Madeline? Zach has done episodes with Madeline for their podcast where he's like mentioned the Streisand effect in relation to Taylor Swift. So when an artist does something or something happens in connection to a celebrity, a big name, the best thing to do if you don't want people to know about it or talk about it is don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. Like, play dumb. And eventually it'll kind of blow over, right? But the Streisand effect is if you make a big fuss, so the term comes from there were aerial images, like photographs of Barbara Streisand's home. And it was for like Google Maps or Google Earth or something. No one knew it was Barbara Streisand's home. They just thought it was a house. They saw houses, they saw many other houses. No one gave a fuck. No one cared, right? But then Barbara Streisand tried to like sue the company that had taken the photos, and that got into the news because they were, oh, Barbara Streisand's like suing this thing. So then all of a sudden, people were like, oh, Barbara Streisand's house? What's that look like? And everyone's suddenly going and looking it up. So if she'd kept her mouth shut, no one would have known that was her house and no one cared. But because she made a fuss, it made people care. Zachary has spoken about this effect, this social phenomenon before in relation to Taylor Swift. Because Taylor used to be really bad for opening her mouth and drawing attention to things that she didn't want attention drawn to. Which is kind of what led to Snakegate and led to her being cancelled. Towards the end of the 1989 era, she became insufferable. And, you know, a prime example being when she won Album of the Year for 1989. Her whole acceptance speech was about essentially Kanye. You know, don't let men take credit for your work. And you've got Tori Kelly giving her stank face. Because it's like, what are you talking about? Like, you could have just accepted your award and said thank you and walked off the stage. But instead you stood up there and you were extremely petty and hostile and like passive aggressive. And that made people be like, right, what's she talking about? And it drew more attention to the Kanye stuff, right? Zachary has done that exact same thing because Adam critiqued his Sombr video. Adam was like, I don't agree with Zachary. I think it was misogynistic to talk about the 25-year-old being jealous. I think Sombr is being weird. Adam left it at that. He didn't like Zachary's video. Adam did make a joke saying like, oh, did Sombr's team pay Zachary to defend him? Not great, but, you know, it was a joke. Zachary emailed him and threatened to sue him and like take him to court and the full shebang. Which, what? So Zachary, by doing that, completely escalated the situation because of course Adam was going to make a video about that. Of course Adam was going to let his audience know that that had happened. The best thing for Zach to do would have been to, okay, it's not great that Adam, who's got a big following, made that joke. Like, oh, did Sombr's team pay the Swiftologist to make a positive video? It's not great, but no one would have really cared. People would have taken it as a joke. People joke anyway that Zachary gets paid by artists, like, but Zachary has made it so much worse and bigger. And now Discord messages are being leaked and Zachary's looking awful, and it's all because Zach didn't keep his mouth shut. And Taylor does this, or used to do this, all the time. And Zachary would agree. And I think Zachary is kicking himself because he knows he's fucked up.